The more humanity studies our history, the more it realizes how little we have managed to learn. Thousands of brilliant minds work tirelessly every day to provide answers to the questions that interest us, but each new discovery brings a whole bunch of new questions, and sometimes it seems impossible to answer all of them. Get comfortable because we are starting our collection of the most interesting mysteries of human history. Enjoy the viewing. In June 1947, listeners of the British and Dutch radio stations intercepted a very strange SOS signal transmitted in Morse code. The decoded message read, "This is the Dutch ship Orang Medan. The captain and all officers are dead in the chart room and on the bridge. Probably the whole crew is dead." Then there was an incomprehensible series of dots and dashes, but the end of the message was deciphered. Somewhere in the waters of the Indian Ocean, an unknown radio operator clearly tapped out, "I die too." Nearby ships, including the Silver Star, rushed to the aid of the vessel. When the Americans boarded, they were greeted by a horrifying scene. The ship's deck and bridge were littered with corpses. Even a dog had died, presumably the pet of one of the officers. The radio operator who transmitted the SOS was found in the radio room, also dead, with his hand still on the transmitter. Sailors wanted to go down to the hold to inspect the cargo, but they quickly abandoned the idea. The inside of the ship was unbelievably cold, and in some places, the corridors were covered with frost. The crew of the Silver Star decided to tow the Medan and bring it to port to determine the cause of the crew's death. But as soon as the ship was taken under tow, smoke began to billow from the deck. A smoldering fire was breaking out from deep inside the hold. Shortly after, the Medan exploded and sank, burying the history of what happened on the ship along with the crew. On March 10, 1928, 9-year-old Walter Collins asked his mother, Christine, for some money to go to the movies. According to the Los Angeles Times, she gave him 10 cents and sent him on his way, but she never saw him again. The Los Angeles police quickly began searching for the boy when he didn't return home from the theater, but their efforts proved fruitless. Then, 5 months later, a child claiming to be Walter turned up in Illinois. Although Christine Collins insisted that the boy was not her son, the police were adamant and even had her committed to a psychiatric hospital when she continued to deny their claims. Eventually, the imposter confessed that he was not the missing boy, and at the same time, the police discovered the location where the real Walter had been murdered. This story remains a mystery for investigators and an intriguing topic for conspiracy theorists, as the motives, reasons, and circumstances of the crime have never been fully unraveled. On board the American airship L-8 that day were two individuals, Lieutenant Ernest DeWitt Cody and Ensign Charles Ellis Adams. It was a routine patrol mission, and nothing seemed amiss. 5 hours after takeoff, the airship crashed. Local fire teams, leaving a fire on nearby hillsides, rushed to the scene, extinguished the flames, and attempted to rescue the airship's crew. But they found no one to save. Both pilots had somehow disappeared. They were never found, earning the ship the nickname Ghost Blimp. Brotherly graves are of great value to archaeologists. They shed light on many aspects of a specific era in history, but this grave has only raised new questions. This burial was found in Greece, and at first glance, it may seem like slaves or criminals were buried here, but the burial showed signs of a certain respect, leaving scientists unable to definitively say what happened there. The Nazca lines are massive drawings that can only be seen from a great height. Their appearance is one of the biggest archaeological mysteries of modern times. The purpose and meaning of the Nazca lines remain one of the greatest enigmas. Why did the Nazca people want to draw figures on the ground that can only be seen from above? Some believe they have religious significance, others see them as a giant calendar, and some think they are part of a rain-summoning ritual. Regardless, it remains impossible to say for certain why they were created to this day. The Overtown Bridge is a pedestrian bridge located in Scotland. The bridge gained international attention due to a large number of dogs jumping off the bridge and fatally injuring themselves. The first case of a dog suicide was recorded in 1951, and by 1955, there were more than 50 cases. In some instances, if the dogs survived, they would jump off the bridge again after recovering. Expert David Sexton of the Scottish Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals believes that the unusual behavior of animals is not due to mysticism. In an experiment, he found that there is a very large population of mice and minks living under the bridge, and the dogs simply chase after their scent. Stories about terrifying giants exist in the culture of most, if not all, countries in the modern world. But have you ever wondered whether all these stories are just human inventions, or did giants actually exist on our planet many years ago? After all, archaeologists have found skeletons that were several times larger than ours. But if giants did exist, where did they disappear to? This question continues to puzzle the greatest historians of our time and may remain unsolved. Hey, who is Dan Cooper? You may not need to answer this question because the FBI doesn't know who he is. Dan Cooper is the alias of an American criminal who on November 24, 1971, hijacked a Boeing 727-51 aircraft of an airline traveling from Portland to Seattle. After receiving a ransom of $200,000, the hijacker released the passengers, forced the pilots to take off, and then parachuted out about 50 kilometers northeast of Portland. Despite a lengthy investigation, the FBI failed to identify the hijacker's identity or determine his fate, and in July 2016, the investigation was officially suspended. And with that, our compilation has come to an end, but interesting stories have not. If you don't want to miss out, be sure to subscribe to our channel. Remember, the most interesting things are all around us. Until next time.